So over the past several videos, I've been talking about the way we create our lives, the way we create the things that we would like to have in our lives. And I've been talking about intention and conscious intention and unconscious intention. And so I want to continue with that theme. So once we've offered an intention, okay, and my truth is that when we offer an intention, which is just a statement about what we would like to unfold or what we'd like to have in our life, once we say, this is what I want, once we offer our intention, okay, it creates a partnership with life, with spirit, with the universe. Okay, and now once we create that, there's this collaborative dance of unfolding this thing. Okay, and almost kind of a back and forth dance. And one of the main ways that this happens is that life or spirit will present doorways. Okay, it'll present experiences for us to participate in the form of people and various experiences in life. Okay, and this, in my opinion, is often the most challenging part of the creation process, of the intention whole thing. It's really challenging, and the reason it is because the doorway, the thing that the universe is presenting to us, often does not make sense to our conscious mind. Okay, and there's a good reason for this. One of the things we get when we collaborate with the universe is the universe is able to see a more complete picture of what's going on in our life. Our conscious mind sees it sees a small percentage of all that's going on around us and in our lives, inside and without. The analogy I often use is, they say that we actually use 10% of our brain or our mind or whatever. It's not the perfect analogy, but let's just pick 10%. So spirit sees the other 90%. It sees the big picture, okay, things that I'm not able to see. So we get this 90% of leverage. We get 90% of seeing, of resources, and seeing what needs to happen, and seeing how we can unfold this thing that we wouldn't otherwise get. Okay, that's the reason, that's the biggest reason, in my opinion, why you should collaborate with spirit, is you get this leverage, you get to see the big picture, and you get to see possibilities and resources that you wouldn't otherwise see. You wouldn't otherwise be able to make use of. So now the challenge with that is, a lot of times these things, especially if it's in the 90% that I'm using as a hypothetical example here, especially if it's at the 90% that our conscious mind doesn't see, that doorway that life presents, if it's from the 90%, may not make sense to our conscious mind, which is more linear. Okay, so if I want, say, a relationship, a partner, a romantic partner relationship, my conscious mind is going to be oriented around that. And it's going to say, okay, well, I need to go out and meet people, and how do I need to get on a dating site, or do I need to get out more and get off the sofa? Like, what do I need to do? And it's going to be oriented more that way, which is good. That's part of it, but maybe just part of it. Okay, what if spirit sees that, that we'll just use me as an example. What if spirit sees that, well, Mike has a difficult time accepting love. He says he wants unconditional love, but is he really willing to allow that level of love and beauty into his heart? And it's like, maybe not. And if he can't, the universe knows, well, if he can't, then when that comes to him in the form of a person, if he can't accept it, he might push her away. Okay, and then so what we need to do is we need to get him create, send him some doorways, send him some experiences that allow him to accept more love, so that when he meets his soulmate, he can actually allow her in. Okay, and see, so then therefore I start getting these lessons about accepting more love, and the conscious mind is like, this is not even relevant. Why am I getting this experience when I want a relationship? It makes no sense. So two things happen. First of all, the first two potential challenges happen here. First of all, we may not see the doorway or see it as a doorway. Okay, the lesson or whatever else, we may not see it, so we dismiss it. This isn't what I'm after, so not relevant, don't need to deal with this. So we don't see the doorway, or we see the thing, but we don't see it as a doorway. Okay, that's the first problem. I shouldn't say problem. That's the first potential challenge. Okay, and then the second thing, I kind of already alluded to it, is that we're not willing to deal with it. So to be more clear, the first part would be I don't see it. The second thing is, or I don't see it as relevant. The second thing is I'm not really willing to deal with it. It's like, this isn't I don't want some stupid lesson in accepting more love. I want to get out there and meet my soulmate. So we're like, so there's not a willingness to kind of take our medicine. If we're like having these lessons or these coyote medicine things where it's trying to show me things and it make me bigger or whatever, it's like, no, it's not what I'm after. I wanted a freaking relationship, dude. That's what I want. So it's like, so those are the two challenges. We either don't see it, and B, don't see it as relevant, or we're not willing to embrace it when it comes. And so the practice is to as I call it, is to ask yourself, what is presenting itself to me, which is a way to see the doorways. Okay, we're asking ourselves, what is spirit presenting to me? What is life presenting to me? Or what is being presented to me? So like looking at, what are the big experiences you had during your week? Okay, what are the significant, like at the end of the week, what are the significant experiences that you have? I ask this in sharing circles sometimes. What are the significant experiences you had? Like the 5 most impactful experiences. Like, well, that's a clue as to what life is presenting to me. Okay, and maybe it had a theme, maybe it didn't have a theme. But then we can look at what types of experiences and doorways and opportunities and possibilities and invitations are coming my way. Okay, and then am I allowing myself to have those experiences? Am I participating? Am I seeing them? And am I, again, the two things, am I seeing them and am I embracing them? Okay, and so it may seem like you're going in a direction that doesn't necessarily make sense, but actually it's a shortcut, because if I can accept more love, things are going to go way better when I meet my soulmate. So it's actually a shortcut, but it seems like it's not. So then the practice is to say, what is presenting itself to me? And how can I allow it in? And how can I trust spirit to unfold this with me, even if it doesn't make sense to my conscious mind? Okay, so that is my video for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying. As we get closer to summer, I hope you're enjoying things. And as you walk through your week, I would just invite you to ask yourself, what is presenting itself to you? Okay, and then to really work with that and to see, is like, are you willing to embrace what is being presented to you and learn what you need to learn through that experience, and to have the experience trusting. Now, obviously, we don't want to, go down an old pattern or something like that. But if it's a new thing and it seems like comes out of nowhere, there's probably something there for us. And, and are you willing to allow yourself to have that experience and to step through that doorway? And I will see you in a week.